Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon. Today we have patch 6.1a, and this genuinely has the greatest change I've ever seen. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. We'll get into it at the end of the patch notes because it's near the end, but genuinely like so hyped for one of these changes. I think is absolutely amazing. So starting off though, Nocturne will be coming on May 16th. Nocturne's the champion that turns out the lights. I'm pretty sure that's the champion that this is. Honestly, don't know much about it. I usually don't really learn what the champions do until they actually come out, but May 16th, Nocturne's coming out. I hear that he's really good with Orianna, so that might be pretty hype for me. But then going into the champion changes, again, we mostly just focus on the balance here because that's really what my channel is kind of based around. And so Scion's getting a bit of a buff. He's going to do more damage in his zombie form, basically. And then he's also getting a lower cooldown on his second ability. Each level going to go down by 1 second. And then it's also going to give a larger shield at level 2, 3, and 4. So this Scion buff, does it change much? No, not really. Maybe it means you get an extra auto off on a turret when you're, dying for a turret. Maybe it means you're able to sometimes kill someone you wouldn't otherwise kill. But for the most part, I think Scion has the same use. He's a kind of a sort of inting champion where you're just kind of drawing pressure on the side lane constantly. Mostly just drawing pressure, maybe making engages or using your global to, split push and then rotate to a fight. But for the most part, I think he's like an average champion. He does the tank's job, but he's nothing special. So overall, Scion's, just an average champion even after these buffs, in my opinion. Okay, so next up we have a Garen buff, and normally I would be mad at Riot Games for buffing Garen, but because of the change that they made that makes me really, really happy, I'll let this one slide. So they're buffing his third ability damage on hit by 3 at level 1, by 3 at level 2, 3 at level 4, and also 3 at level 3. I don't know why I said it in that order, but I did. Basically, Garen getting a bit more damage on his third ability. I don't really think this does much, honestly. It's a decent little DPS increase, but overall, Garen's already extremely strong into most of the meta. Really good sustain, strong in lanes, still scales well, team fights well, split pushes well. He does everything, and he's also insanely easy to play. So if you guys are looking for an easy champion, especially if it's like an autofill champion you want, Garen is definitely a perfect option for that. Okay, and then we have a Leona buff, and this makes a lot of sense because Leona with Cleanse, Veil, QSS, and 90 other different forms of, crowd control reduction / prevention in the game right now makes Leona very, very weak since she's entirely based around crowd control. And so they're buffing her second ability. They're making her get more armor and more magic resist when clicking the second ability. And then it's also going to do more damage once the thing explodes. So overall, does this change much for Leona? Not really, because again, conceptually, she's based all around CC, and her CC is still very easy to prevent with all of these different things in the game. Obviously, it makes her a bit stronger, but overall, I would still only really pick Leona with these certain champions, like for example with Misfortune or with like a Jhin, these ADCs that have good early game, that are pretty aggressive, that can follow up on her CC really well. Those are going to be the only times I really recommend picking Leona right now. Okay, and then Wukong, who is one of the best top laners and junglers right now on this patch, is getting nerfed, which makes a lot of sense, and I think is a really good nerf. So they're nerfing his passive health regeneration by 0.15% max health per second, and then they're also nerfing his third ability damage by 10 base damage on every level. So this is a bigger nerf to Baron lane Wukong because his sustain from his passive is a lot more useful for Baron lane, whereas in jungle you're healing off of camps with your smite and all of that, and you're not like trading as frequently. So it's a bigger nerf to Baron lane Wukong, but the third ability damage nerf does impact jungle as well. Overall, I do feel like Wukong will still be extremely strong, but he'll struggle a lot more into these tanky champions now with this lack of sustain. So playing into champions, for example, in Baron lane like Poppy or Ornn or those types of tankier champions, he's going to struggle into them because as soon as they hit armor boots, he can't really kill them that well or trade that effectively on them. And then when those champions get 2, 3, 4 items, he really, really struggles to side lane against them, and he gets out team fought. So he's going to be more of a champion that you're really going to want to pick when the enemy pick a lot of like mid health bruisers or a lot of squishy champions rather than just blind picking Wukong every game. Okay, and honestly, like the balance team made some really good choices this patch. So they're nerfing Victor as well. Victor of the control mages is definitely one of the strongest. Victor, Orianna, Syndra right now, all really, really good mages. And for me, I'm happy because I play a lot more Orianna and Syndra than Victor. But what they're doing with Victor, they're nerfing his first ability damage, mostly in the late game. So it's going down 5% AP scaling. And then it's also the base damage is going down by 5 at level 2, by 10 at level 3, and by 15 at level 4. And then the third ability is also being nerfed. The first ray is getting 10% less AP scaling, and so is the second ray, or the second phase. So overall, this nerfs his damage really significantly in the late game. His burst damage is going to be a lot worse at one-shotting squishies. He's still going to be able to one-shot a lot of squishies, But overall, I would say this definitely brings him below Orianna and Syndra. I would definitely put Orianna and Syndra above him now. And honestly, I might even put Ziggs right now above him. So honestly, to me, Victor is going to be a solid mage champion still. Is still going to be fine. But I don't think he's going to be near the top tier anymore. We'll wait to see how much these nerfs actually affect him. But that's my current kind of thoughts on Victor. Another amazing nerf, like actually Riot Games with this patch is completely smurfing. Like they're smurfing harder than like I have been this season with my win rate in solo queue. Like second ability nerf on Civer, who is one of the best ADCs in the game, and that ricochet ability is really annoying. So they're nerfing the ricochet base damage, and then they're also nerfing the AD scaling every single level on that ability. So again, like honestly, this is really, really good. Civer right now, way too good, wave clear, way too easy to scale up in the late game, way too safe, just absolutely nutty champion right now. And so, you know, nerfing the damage a little bit on this ricochet, I don't think it's going to do anything crazy. I still think Civer is going to be near the top, if not, you know, a top 3 ADC in the game. But I really like to see this change, you know, getting a little bit lower damage on a champion who is really strong. But definitely if you're a Civer player, I mean, you don't got to worry. Your champion is still going to be really strong right now in the meta. Okay, and then they're also nerfing Blitzcrank, and I think it kind of makes sense because Blitzcrank, compared to a lot of other tanks, does a lot better in this meta, because a lot of the tanks, they have to go in and full engage in order to kind of be valuable. And because of QSS and Veil and Cleanse and everything, it's really hard once those champions go in to get out, and then they're just not able to actually get their CC off. But Blitzcrank can fish for hooks really easily. He doesn't have to fully commit to go in, and he's just overall really good into a lot of the enchanters right now as well. He's really good into champions like Lulu, like Melio, and so those are kind of the, you know, the best champions. And so they're nerfing his base health from 720 to 660, and then they're nerfing his first ability damage, the hook, on level 2, 3, and 4. So overall, again, this does make him squishier, which is impactful, but overall, I still think he's a great counter to the enchanters that I mentioned. He's just a great champion most of the time, and he has that like solo queue carry potential because he gets to make a lot of the engages and a lot of decisions himself, so he's still going to be a good champion overall. Okay, and the last champion change is Jinx. They're lowering her base damage by 4, but they're lowering the cooldown of her third ability by 1 second at each level. So overall, I would say this is more of a nerf. She's more of a champion based around damage than she is around her cooldown of her third ability. So definitely a little bit of a nerf. Right now, Jinx is frankly just a champion who you play when you have a Melio or a Lulu. That, like, Melio, Lulu, either of those champions with Jinx is completely mega OP, super insanely broken. Everything else with Jinx is mediocre at best. So frankly, I don't think this was the champion that actually needed the nerf. I think it was, you know, Melio or Lulu or Veil or those types of things. But either way, with this nerf, I still think Jinx is going to be the exact same. Really OP with those two champions I mentioned. Really mediocre with everything else. So that's pretty much that. Then we're going up to the change I was telling you guys about that I think is absolutely the best change Wild Rift has ever made in the entire history of their game, and I am not exaggerating. I might be lying. Maybe there's something I'm not thinking about right now, but I genuinely have never seen such a good change in the entire game. So basically, they've made a nerf to jungle. So they've adjusted jungler's damage to monsters and income scaling in the mid to late game while removing the gold penalty on lane minions at 730, and then they're also reducing the extra gold and damage benefits that Smite provides to slow down mid game jungle scaling without affecting early pathing and clear speed. So there's bonus 15% basic attack damage to monsters starting at 2 minutes, and then the bonus damage decays by 1% every 12 seconds. And then at 5 minutes, the bonus is fully removed. So basically, you're gonna have better early game clear speed as a jungler, or like in like the sort of early game, you know, 2 minutes to 5 minutes overall. So you're gonna be able to clear a little bit faster, which will make some more champions maybe viable in jungle who have a little slower clear speed the second go around. But then this is the change that's really insane. Starting at 7 minutes and 30 seconds, junglers no longer receive a 20% bonus gold from taking down monsters. So before, the junglers would get 20%, you know, bonus gold every time that they kill a jungle camp compared to a laner or someone taking it. And that led to junglers having 1,000 gold per minute really easily compared to most laners not being able to get past 800 in a majority of games. And so it just made jungle completely broken. It made assassins, it made carry champions like Nyla insanely OP in jungle while making tank junglers complete dog shit. Stuff like Maokai, Poppy jungle, you're never seeing these junglers because they just have like no way to keep up in gold, and they don't utilize the gold nearly as well as these carries. So nerfing this jungle gold in the mid game is absolutely amazing. And then they're even making the clear speed better. So this makes like a tank jungler, for example, able to kind of keep up in pacing with, you know, the other carry junglers. I mean, this is why we see a Mumu being so OP, is because he's a tank, but he has an OP clear speed. And so this is kind of going to bring as well like champions like a Mumu more in line with those other champions, like those other tanks. So overall, I mean, this change is absolutely amazing. I'm sure it'll make tanks and supportive junglers a bit stronger, but I definitely think you're still going to be able to play carry junglers. It's not like this is a complete removal of carry junglers. It's just making them more balanced, so they're not going to have 15,000 gold while everyone else in the game has 12,000, 10,000, whatever, which is how every high elo game goes. Like if you ever watch a high elo game, most of the time in my games, because, you know, like I'm playing mid lane, a lot of times I'll have a lot of gold, but then it's pretty much me, and then my jungler has an insane amount of gold, and everyone else is like 4k below, and it's just broken. So super happy about this change. Absolutely an S+ patch for me. Like I've never had so much hype from a patch, even though it's just balance changes, and then you can just see some random skins. I don't care about the skins. Even though it's just balance changes, I think these balance changes are amazing, and the gameplay system changes to junglers is absolutely amazing. So let me know your guys' thoughts on the patch, on this video as a whole. I believe the patch will be out when you guys see this video, but maybe it'll not be out till the next day. I don't know for sure. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.